Hey, Service Nation, so good to be back with you today. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about, and it'll be interesting to see how popular this episode is, because when we talk about money or marketing and getting clients, everybody jumps on, and that's great. It's super exciting to know how to do all that stuff. Sadly, when we talk about how to leverage your time for the most results and impact in the world to get what you want out of life, it's not as I don't say popular, but people don't seem to be attract to it as much, which is crazy because if you think about it, every single one of us is getting poorer by the day in time. 100% of the people on this earth tomorrow will be poorer in time than we are today. Most of us get wealthier as we get older. So we gain money generally. Sometimes we can lose money. But generally, older people have more money than, say, infants. Typically not your wealthiest segment of the population. But 100% of infants have more time than 40-year-olds, and 100% of 40-year-olds have more time than 80-year-olds. And every wealthy person, I shouldn't say every, but the vast majority of wealthy people I know would trade all of their money for just a little bit of time. Yet a lot of younger people are willing to trade their time for money, which I don't think is a good deal. So today we are going to talk about how to get what you want in the time that you want and start kind of thinking about impact and all that sort of good stuff. And of course, by the way, you figure out how to work your time, everything else falls into place. Money comes, everything comes. So all the good stuff, it's not like it's one or the other. They're really together. But I just wanted to start with a mini rant on how money is important, but not clearly as important as time. And by the way, when we expire, not if, when, we will have, depending on what you believe about the afterlife, we will for sure have none of the money that we've earned here, and our time on this earth will be done. I have an eternal perspective and think that we have more time, but our time on this earth, I think we can all pretty much agree will be done. So, by the way, I like to start these guys by encouraging you to give me feedback on what you like, what you don't like, if this is massive value, tiny value, no value. If you don't like the cut of my jib, I guess don't email me for that. That would just be mean. But subscribe, rate, and review. Refer to your friends that own service companies that you know need more time or money, or just be able to create more impact in the world with their business. If you're picking up what I'm laying down, this is a community for you. Let people know. That's how we know that this is working. We put more time and money, and we'll continue bringing you the good stuff. And if you don't like it, I guess just be silent, and we'll know no one's interested and wander away. All right, so tell me if this resonates with any of you men and women. When I was a kid, it's so funny too, by the way, I love hearing your stories. Feel free to reach out, let me know your story. I love hearing entrepreneur stories because they're all different, but they've got a lot of themes that are the same. And when I was a kid, even as a young kid, I always wanted to make money. I didn't even know why. I think to me it represented like freedom, or like I was an adult, or I don't know what it was, but I want to make money. And probably many of you guys and gals have felt the same. I just didn't know how. So the first job I got, and let's show you how old I am, I started working for $2.35 an hour at Carl's Jr., right here in Phoenix. And I remember I'd work all week in the summer, and my check would literally be like $100 or something. It was embarrassing. But I'd earned it, right? And it was hard work too. So I did that, and then I kind of moved on. And tell me, I'd love to hear your guys' stories if it followed not the exact same thing. You don't have to have worked at Carl's Jr., but just this kind of theme of how things work. So I started at $2.35 at Carl's Jr., and then I found a telemarketing job for like $10 an hour plus commissions or something. I was like 14. I don't even know it. I was so worried because I don't think in Arizona you could work unless you were 16. But on the application, it just said, "Are you under 18?" And I said yes. And then they didn't ask how old I was, so I got the job. And I remember my mom made me go on vacation or something for a week, and I lost it. Weird thing, but I went from $2 an hour to $10 an hour. And then I upgraded from that to being a waiter because I was like, oh, I could make tips, right? And I was probably making, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks an hour. You didn't have to really, I don't know if you had to claim your tips or whatever. And then came my first real job as a real, I guess in quotes, as a car. And my last real job, by the way, I've had a business ever since then, ever since I left there, was I got a job selling cars, right? Commission only. In my first year, I made like $30,000. Works out to about 15 bucks an hour if I work 40 hours a week. Second year, I made 40,000. That works out to about 20 bucks an hour. My third year, I made $50,000. Works out to about 25 bucks an hour. So I kept kind of moving up from trading my time for money. And I started trading my time for $2 an hour, and I worked my way up to 10 times that, trading my time for $25 an hour, right? And, but I left because I realized, and this is where I would love your guys' feedback, and gals, if this is how you all feel. I realized any capped salary where I just couldn't make whatever I wanted, right? My income wasn't directly tied to my results, wasn't going to work. I thought the car dealership would scratch that itch, right? Because it was technically uncapped, but even the best guys there were making 100, 150 grand a year, which is good. It's really good back in the 90s because I'm old, but I was making 50 grand. I was still top quarter, so it was still semi-capped, right? And I didn't own anything, right? No matter how much I made, the car dealership, had all the, owned everything. So I didn't want to trade my time for money anymore. I wanted to control my life and my impact and do everything on my terms. So I left that. At the time, it was a good job, right? That last year I made $50,000. I don't think my mom ever made that. Maybe, I don't know. I know, I'm pretty sure my dad didn't. So it was big money for the Campion family, right? From a kid with no college education or discernible skills. Although I was younger and better looking. I don't know if that helped, but I had that. That was that was all I had. I was young and not terrible to look at. So anyway, I left that and started my business. The problem is I went right back to $10 or $20 an hour jobs. I missed the fact like I'm working for myself, which is good. So that was a big difference. But I went back to $10 or $20 an hour jobs. And I know I did that because my first year I made about $40,000. So I actually made less money. I was happier. I worked way more, but I owned it. So it felt better. But I was still making 40 grand a year, and I worked twice as much. So my per hour rate probably went in half, right? Because I went from 50 grand to 40 grand, and I went from working probably 30, 40 hours a week to like 50, 60 hours a week. The problem was, if you're taking notes or writing stuff down, this is a writer downer. The problem was $10 an hour work felt exactly the same as $100 an hour work. I couldn't tell the difference between one or another in the middle of it, right? And that's what I want to make sure we solve for you in our time together today. And I kept trying to you read all this time management. So that's why I was worried about the title today saying $1 Million Time Management, because for service business owners, which we are going to talk about, but it's not really managing time. I just didn't know how to communicate this in a title. It's really about investing your time in things that are going to have a really good return, right? Indefinitely, not just like today. So again, I didn't know the difference between $10 an hour work, $100 an hour work, more importantly, which we're going to talk about, work that I did once and that had to do it again if I wanted to get paid again, and work I did once and got paid forever. They all felt exactly the same. So I spent like 92% of my time doing $10 or $20 an hour work, right? This caused me to hit the ground running every day, putting out fires, hustle, get home exhausted. We still with my list of, my to-do list being bigger than it was when I started and having no idea what I did that day. When my wife's like, how was the day? I'm like, great, worked and got a bunch done. What'd you do? I'm like, things, I don't know. It was just a kind of, I was on a rat race of $20 an hour putting out fires, right? So the problem is, and again, unfortunately, I think a lot of you guys and gals, the folks we've been coaching for all these years have been here, right? And we risk getting burned out and just wanting to shut the thing down. I've talked to many owners of service companies that are just like, I'm done. I'm ready to shut this thing down. And we externalize thinking, my area sucks, the business model sucks, the employees are the problem, right? But the reality is we don't recognize which parts of our business are really making us money and which are basically wasted, right? So we do the things, we waste a bunch of time and we get that kind of results and we think it's a business's fault. So the problem was, if we can't get this figured out, and I didn't win until I got this figured out, we really just have another job, right? If we're just doing $10 or $20 an hour work for ourselves, putting out fires, we went from working 40 hours a week, typically making more for one crazy boss, to working 80 hours a week, often for less, with 100 bosses, right? Our customers are our bosses. Our employees are our bosses. If we don't pay them, our vendors are our bosses. I had a franchise, a ServiceMaster commercial cleaning franchise. They had rules of what I could and couldn't do. So to a degree, they were my boss, right? So we feel like we made a big step forward, and we did, going from working for someone else to owning it ourselves. But we still live like we're employed, making 10, 20, 30 bucks an hour. but we just have to work a lot harder for it, right? So it superficially seems like a good deal, but day to day it's not. So I didn't really recognize this until I sold that first business, my ServiceMaster commercial cleaning franchise. We got like 3 times what I paid. I only had it for 2 or 3 years. I got 3 times what I paid. I think about 5 times what we were making per year. I got that all in one big lump sum. First time I ever had any money, right? Ever. That was by far the most money. And it was like 80 grand or something. It wasn't in profit because I had some debt I borrowed money anyway. It wasn't a lot of money. I mean, it was money, but it wasn't a lot of money. But looking back, I realized that I was struggling, call it 40 grand a year. And let's say after the debt reservice and taxes and whatever nonsense, say I made 80, and I don't think it was exact number, but it's close. I realized like I could make 40 grand. I had to work all year, every year. But I did it for 2.5 years, and I built up this $80,000 asset, and it was more than that. I sold it for a couple $100,000, but we had to pay off debt, and I don't know, whatever. I don't know what I did with it. Whatever. Maybe it was more. Maybe, yeah, I think it was more than 80. Maybe it was 150. Either way, it wasn't a fortune that I could retire on, but it was way more than the 40 grand a year I was making. And looking back, I realized all the day-to-day activity that I did, the putting out the fires that I thought was super important, wasn't making me any money. It was just, that was the $40,000 a year job. The money I had made, that big lump sum I got when I sold the daggum thing, that's what I got paid. That's where I really got paid. The problem is, looking back, I spent 95% of my time on the $40,000 a year work, making virtually no money, and like 5% of my time created that. I should go look it up. It was probably 150 grand or something. I don't know, because we bought it for 65, sold it for 185. I don't know, whatever. A big lump sum thing. Like 5% of my time was spent on systems and processes and the thing that the guy bought. 5% of my time was spent on that. 95% of my time was just making that $40,000 a year doing the day-to-day work. So once I figured that out, I was able to create a dependable, scalable, repeatable system to build businesses that other people would pay top dollar for. So focus like, hey, I could do it on purpose as opposed to spending 5% of my time building something someone wants to buy. I could spend half my time, right? And instead of working in my business, I can start working on it, like Michael Gerber says in the E-Myth. The good news is this is a simple framework that you can implement today. We're going to go over it right now. And the big thing is you got to understand there are really 3 types of income, and I'm going to tell you what they are, how to know what they are, where to spend your time to really get impact financially and then just in the world. So the first type of income, this is the boo hiss income, write this in black angry letters because we don't like this income, is unleveraged low income. This is typically 10 to 20 bucks an hour, but we're going to call it under 100 bucks an hour. This could be providing your service, right? If you own a cleaning company, that might be 20 bucks an hour. If you own an AC company, that might be 80 bucks an hour, right? If you're a mechanic, whatever. So low income, this would be, again, providing your service, paying bills, doing payroll, driving, haggling with a vendor, whatever nonsense that we do day to day. It's trading your time for small amounts of money. The problem with this is there's a low demand for it and there's a high supply. Anyone can do it. Lots of people want to do it, right? You can pay someone to do your payroll. There's 1,000 people out there. It's no big deal. Also, there are constant alarms and reminders. If you don't do payroll, someone's going to yell at you. If you don't show up an appointment after driving somewhere, so you know what I'm saying? You can't. These are the things that are going to naturally take your time if you don't do something about it. This is the type of stuff you learn once and you rarely have to step out of your comfort zone. That's why it's high supply of people willing to do it. Once you've done some accounting or driven somewhere, you can kind of do it again without really having to grow or pretty high confidence. Nothing's going to put you out of your comfort zone, right? Also, this has to be done over and over, right? And it's only worth the service that you're providing. So if it's mopping a floor, that's only worth 10, 20 bucks an hour, and that floor is going to need to be mopped again tomorrow. A lot of people can do it. There's a lot of supply and there's not that much demand, right? You want this to be less than 10% of your time. 0% is fine, less than 10%. The one thing I want to give you is when you're just starting, it's easy to go, I'm the chief cook, bottle washer, I got to do everything. That's not the truth. That is such a lie from the pit of hell. The reality is, if it's profitable, you can afford it. If it's not profitable, don't do it, right? So I used to, at the beginning, think I had to do everything. I had to do payroll, I had to do this, I had to do that, because I couldn't afford it. But the reality was either you don't have a profitable business model, right? Or you can't afford it. So don't be fooled just because you're starting that you can't afford certain things. All right. So that's unleveraged low income. You have to do over and over. not a lot of growth, low demand, high supply, not a lot of pay. The next step is a step up. It's unleveraged high income. This is over $100 an hour. It's still limited by your time, right? So you still have to show up and do it. So this might be for, in our business, sales to the right customer, right? If it's a little customer that's worth $300, that selling to them is unleveraged low income. If it's a big customer, it's worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now we've moved into unleveraged high income, right? Doctors and lawyers are in this category, right? They're still trading their time. You're still trading your time. You just make more money. So if a lawyer makes $200-300 an hour, he still has to do the work unless he's a complete charlatan. He makes more money, but it's still unleveraged time. If he doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. This is higher demand, lower supply, right? Because you typically, to make that kind of money, you have to have some sort of skill. Fewer people want to do it or can do it. There's not as many reminders, right? People aren't going to as much remind you to sell, right? This is going to typically require more personal growth to compete and to stay active, right? So you're going to have to invest a little more in yourself. Doctors and lawyers constantly educating themselves. Good top salespeople constantly investing in themselves. You still have to do it over and over again, right? If you sell something today, unless you've got some sort of ongoing payment thing, you're going to have to sell something tomorrow if you want to eat tomorrow, right? You make a lot more, but the caveat is still you still have to perform, right? If you stop doing the work, you don't get paid. You can spend 20, 40, no more than 60% of your time here, but you can spend a little more time here, and you have to know the difference. The big thing, and what I want to go over, is you leave our time together going, I know the difference between low income, unleveraged work and high income, unleveraged work. We still want to get to category 3, which is leveraged work, but if you're going to be in the unleveraged work, at least make it high income, right? Okay, so be careful with this unleveraged high income, because if you came from unleveraged low income, like I did, cleaning toilets, you get into unleveraged high income, you're like, aha, this is why I got into business, I'm making money. But the problem is, as long as it's unleveraged, you're still an employee, not a business owner, right? If I own my own law firm, but I have to practice law and see clients to get paid, I really am just a lawyer, right? But once I own a law firm and other lawyers see clients, then I don't have to see clients. Now I've moved into the third piece, which is leveraged income. This could be high or low, but the big thing is it's independent of your efforts. That's the magical thing here, right? If I own a pool cleaning business and I clean pools, if I stop cleaning pools, I stop getting paid. If I own a pool cleaning business and other people clean pools, I can be on vacation. The other people still clean pools, I still get paid, right? So this is independent of your efforts. That's the magic. This is things like creating systems and building culture. This is the type of work that you trade your time once and you get paid indefinitely. That's why when you sell a business, people will pay a lot for it, because these systems and this culture that you've created will continue spitting out money indefinitely without you having to do it, right? When I sold my Service Master commercial cleaning business, if I was still doing all the cleaning, what would I really have to sell? A job, right? I would have made a tenth of what I made. But because I had other people clean and I could just kind of manage it, you paid a lot more, okay? So this is a huge demand and virtually no supply. This is a true entrepreneur that is willing to risk his time, his capital, grow. This is the most. These people that are successful here invest the most in training themselves, getting better. That's why you are here, probably. You want to get better at what you do. There are no reminders. Sometimes doing this work doesn't feel like you're getting stuff done. An employee calls in with a problem, you talk to him for 5 minutes and the problem's solved, you feel like you got something done. But that's that $40,000 a year job, right? You don't really get anything proper done. You work on a system, it might take weeks or months before that thing gets implemented. It might just be one little system that makes you a little bit extra money or a little faster forever. It doesn't feel like much. So you got to be really careful, because this is where the real leverage is. It just doesn't feel all the time like you're getting paid the big bucks, although you are. This is the magic. You do it once, you get paid forever. You want to spend, as a business owner, as a service business owner, you want to spend at least a third of your time here. The more the better, but at least a third of your time, even at the beginning. This is what creates long-term wealth, long-term impact. And I've seen it. So many of the people, the service business owners that we coach, start with a unleveraged low income, like I did, right? They're actually doing the service that their company provides, trading time for small amounts of money. Then they moved up into unleveraged higher income. They're starting to do sales. They're starting to do, managing teams. Managing teams can be, if you do it well, can be high income, but it's still unleveraged. You stop managing a team, it typically falls apart. And then many, if not most, of our high level clients are in the leveraged income state, right? They are building systems and culture, and the business really makes money with or without them. And the work they do today is for them to get paid indefinitely tomorrow, right? It doesn't really affect today. So if they take a month or 6 months off, the business continues. All right, once you get to this state, this leveraged income, you move to oftentimes to your money making money for you, or your investment making money for you, and your time starts becoming invested in impact, right? That's what I'm doing here. I've sold my brick and mortar businesses. As much as we do well and get paid for all of our services, I do a lot of this because I love impacting and changing service business owners, right? I know what it's like to struggle and work and work and work and have 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and I love seeing you guys served. The cool thing is, this is the ultimate control and impact, right? You are able to contribute. Once your leveraged income is greater than your monthly needs, you're retired forever, right? Even if let's just say you got a little business and it's systematic, you only need to put 5 or 10 or no hours in per week, but the daggum thing cranks out 4 or 5 grand a month. That's not a lot of money. But if it cranks out 4,500 a month and your expenses are 4,200 a month, you're retired, right? And again, obviously you can still grow, but you kind of move to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you're able to have impact and self-actualization and stop worrying about the day-to-day. You get to control what you do, where you do it, when you do it, and most importantly, who you do it with and how long you do it. That is it. So that's really $1 million time management, is understanding low value unleveraged time, high value unleveraged time, leverage time, and making sure that you're spending the right amount of time in each. You want under 10% in the low value unleveraged. You want like 20 to 40, 60% of time in the high unleveraged, and 33 at a minimum to as much as you can in the leveraged time. All right, if you are getting value out of this, subscribe, rate, review, share it with the world. If you want all the good stuff that we have, go to growmyservicecompany.com. We have nothing to sell at this point. We're just trying to bring value to the world and see how we can serve you. Hey, Jessica. Jessica's like early adopter. When we're a huge community, she's gonna be like, I was the first. So we'll have to send her something to let her know how amazing she is. Go to growmyservicecompany.com. You can opt in. My book I think it's finally in the final proofread, so it should be ready here pretty quick. If you sign up there, we'll let you get a sneak peek copy of it. Just by letting us know who you are. I think you can join our Facebook group. You can subscribe to the podcast, all the good stuff that we're doing, the YouTube channel. One extra thing, just because I love you and I want to connect with you guys, direct message me on Instagram, right? Just go to instagram.com/growmyservicecompany. Follow us, direct message me the word subscribed or shared or referred. I'll take any of them, and I will get you a copy of my first book, I'm a Freaking Genius. Why is this business so hard? It's basically everything I learned over 20 years, all the dumb mistakes I made so you can make better, smarter mistakes. Just DM me, subscribe, or referred, and I'll get you a copy of that. And feel free to also tell me what you need and how I can serve you. Service Nation, love you guys. Can't wait to serve. Talk to you soon.